Everybody got a podcast. Everybody is a critic, but nobody will admit it. Everybody going live now. Everybody want it right now. Click the link up in the bio. Everybody got a new line. Everybody is offended. Give a fuck in your opinion. Everybody got a...
We take a new photo of you and me together, and we're just fatter than ever. We look like Bobo and Little Devil from Nothing But Trouble grown up.
That fucking movie, dude. I saw that movie in the theater.
Still one of the greatest movies ever made.
I remember watching that movie. I remember, my mom had like a VHS of it. I think it scared me, or maybe I was just
very
like,
unsettling.
Or it was like, but I watched it a lot. Yeah, I watched it a lot though.
It was a very unsettling film.
There's some truly terrifying shots in the movie, but it's one of those movies. It's like from my childhood where there was some traumatizing shit in it, but it was also like I never would have heard Digital Underground with Tupac for the first time had it not been for that fucking movie, you know?
Oh wow.
Yep.
Holy shit, I forgot about that. Yeah. That's so great. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. I remember Doug was very, very upset the day that Shock G passed, as we were recording that day.
That was a bummer, man.
It's been a rough year. Not even. I mean,
last
it's been
6
like
months.
a lot of shit. It was like within like 2 months. It was like Shock G, DMX, Black Rob, like all
just bang, bang.
it's just like what the hell is going on? Yeah, and but yeah, it's
so. You talk about copyright claim and getting hit with that. So, Doug, can you tell him the one copyright claim we've gotten against our show so far?
I don't have the actual logistics. I'd have to dump out of here and log on. But basically, I don't remember the name of it. I know Gucci's in the name of the song. I know that, but
no,
that's
the name of the group.
Okay. All right. Gucci Crew, is that the name of the group? Is that what
Gucci Crew 2.
Gucci Crew 2. Oh god, that is such a stupid name. Anyway.
We're talking like back in the 2 Live Crew days. This is how old this shit is.
We recorded, I think, a total of 6 episodes altogether, and I've edited 5 of them so far, I think, and uploaded them fully to YouTube. And YouTube does the whole checking the progress and all that kind of shit. And I have blatantly the original model, and it's completely evolving as we go on. Holy shit, I'm getting sober and I feel like I'm getting more cognitive. I see what you guys are talking about now. Anyway,
yeah.
the show is evolving, but in the beginning my idea was to blatantly, because we started, the more you and I started talking recently was about our bonding over Kevin Smith back when we were a lot younger and going to see him in speaking engagements and stuff like that. And I said, wouldn't it be fun to just do a podcast where we talk about pop culture and music and stuff we love? But I always end up saying we should be recording this, because that's what it feels like every conversation we have is like, I don't want to be like that guy, but like to me, this is something I would want to listen to if I was at work and I wasn't me. The initial idea was to do it like a Chasing Amy thing, because we both love Chasing Amy and that. So I said, why don't we just literally steal that opening track from Chasing Amy, the guitar track, and I'll just put it in when we did the other podcast, I was very conscious about not getting in trouble in case we ever wanted to monetize. I was trying to think ahead. With this one, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I just want to do it because I enjoy doing it. And if somebody wants to jump along, awesome. All the more reason to it. And I said, I don't give a shit about copyright claim. If they tell me to take it down, I'll take it down. But I'm using this song. We're going to transition from color to black and white, like a Kevin Smith movie, which that went out the window right away. I stopped doing the color. That was too much of a hassle. I just went black and white straight. And we would put it. I literally did an episode where you talk about a Guns N' Roses song sounding like a song from Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and you asked me to do a comparison somewhere in the episode. And so I lift 5 seconds of each song, take the album covers to promote them, put them in there. I do all this shit. Not one fucking copyright claim. You would figure Guns N' Roses especially, I would get hit with something. Not one fucking thing. This asshole pulls his fucking phone up and plays 10 seconds of a Gucci Crew 2 song or whatever the fuck it's called.
Sally, that girl.
Impossible, almost impossible to hear. He holds this up to his head, and YouTube sends me a copyright claim with the exact time frame and the amount of seconds that this song was playing on his phone. I'm like, what the?
That's
I told
crazy,
him the only thing I can think of is that they're broke and they're desperately got their lawyers looking for anything.
Like, we literally have played, like, just lifted so many things that should have gotten us in trouble, and the one thing that gets us in trouble is something we're not legitimately dumping into the episode.
Well, the link in bio thing, you guys have nothing to worry about because the song or the instrumental has absolutely no samples. That was actually, that beat was done by JJ May. We did those dog shit EPs together, which is really fun. I wish, I want to do more things like that. I find that it brings something else out of the music when I work with like other people too, and like, you know, have to kind of adjust to a different style, and it makes it more, it kind of makes it fun for me too at the same time. Funny story about the dog shit EP. This is when I realized that I'm not making music, like, I didn't make it to be depressing. You know, I wasn't like, this song I want to be depressing, this song I want to be this, whatever. I put out the first one, and it was not supposed to be a dark record at all. Like, I didn't think at all that it was. I probably got more messages from that one than I did any other project asking if I was okay.
So
like,
you have like a scale.
Yeah, and I was just like, and then I had to re-listen and be like,
this is fucking
shit,
dark.
This is really dark. But it like wasn't supposed to be, I guess. I don't know. It's just it's funny. I mean, literally, the cover is me holding a bag of dog shit, and it's called dog. Like, it wasn't supposed to be like that serious. But then I realized, I went back and I'm like, maybe this, maybe. But it just kind of brought it out, or things I was going through at the time, and I didn't think about it at all. But people were really like, "Are you okay?" Messaging me like, you know, things are. I'm like, yeah, why?
Like, I'm good. I've listened to every album you've put out. I've bought every album you put out since Chemical Imbalance, and there was one that you put back up on Bandcamp, I believe, from before Chemical Imbalance. And it was up on Spotify at one point, and it came down, and I think you put it back up.
Was it Smile?
Yeah, Smile and Nod.
Maybe.
And
yeah,
out of everything you've put out, dude, Gas Station Bananas hit so hard. Like, it's such a good record.
Really enjoy that album quite a bit.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
And I wish more people heard it. Like, I play it constantly in my car and shit. I was listening to a lot of your albums the other night, and More Indifferent came on. And I'm not going to ask you who the track was about. I'm not going to ask you to talk about the track. But I just was going to ask you, how often do you get asked about that track? Because that track is fucking personal as shit, man.
Yeah, I don't mind talking. I don't mind talking about the track itself because, like, it was again one of those things where, you know, in a kind of way, in the way that you just said, like, when you guys call each other and you go, you know, like, why don't we just put this out somewhere? Like, why we should have this recorded? So when a lot of times at funerals or whatever it is, or celebrity deaths, I mean, and all of these things, I start thinking, like, I'm overthinking how I should react for, like, what other people see. So if I'm at a funeral and I'm not crying, I'm overthinking all the time, but I'm overthinking that somebody thinks, oh, I'm not sad enough, this person is sadder. Right. This is, you know, if when we, you know, they were literally giving out, you know, these, like, bumper stickers and stuff that I didn't want to put on my car, not because I didn't care, but it wasn't something I wanted to, I don't know, it wasn't something I wanted to do. Didn't mean I didn't think of it any differently, or, you know, maybe I'll put it somewhere else. You know, I don't want to put it on my car, but if everybody else is, now I'm feeling a certain way. So I just pretty much put that into a song thinking, like, other people have to be thinking this too. And it was also kind of a way that I guess subconsciously I also wanted to, like, defend myself in a way, you know? Like, I still care very much, you know, about this. But for me to go to the family's, you know, house that just lost somebody is very difficult for me to do. And, you know, it's like, it doesn't mean I don't want to be there, hard. But, like, that's not, you know, to me, yeah. So it's like, if I wanted to stay home at that time and I have to deal with it on my own. You know, it was just about just how people can mourn differently. You know, just because you didn't go to the gravesite every time doesn't mean that you don't care more than the person that did go or something. One of my favorites, honestly. It's with,
I love that track. You get enough of the picture from More Indifferent, I think, that it doesn't need to be released. And I think if someone's asking you to release it, that's becoming too much. Because, I mean, it's made pretty clear in the track. You know, you know what I mean? Like, hey, this is done. But
I mean, some people in high school though, that's like, they'll still hit me up now because they don't even realize that like I've still been doing this. They'll just be like, "Oh, do you have that one song that you made, you know, a while ago?" And I'm like,
nah,
nah, like I don't.
Bad hard drive.
Yeah, I was like, nah, I don't have that. Yeah,
that's
like,
crazy,
sorry,
man. I mean, so out of your last, let's say, 5 albums, which one would you say you've had the most fun doing, or you thought was the best?
Okay, well, my favorite is Gas Station Bananas because I am completely at a place of like I'm just creating now. Late Blue, actually, I mean, you know, to be honest, like since Late Bloomer too, because I really like that one a lot too. But I mean, I think now just more than ever, it's just like I'm just creating things that I'm just worried about. You know, I mean, with both of those albums, I did all of the beats. Do all the beats on Late Bloomer? I'd have to go back and check, but I'm pretty sure I did. I hope I did. If not, I feel bad. But with Gas Station Bananas, like I did. No, I did. Yeah, I did because I really wanted to like prove to myself that I could do that. So like that was cool. And now with Gas Station Bananas, it was like I like kind of some beats I thought might have been a little too weird in my opinion. I don't know. Like I was just like I don't know how people, but I was like I fucking love this. So, you know, I was just like let me just put it out and just see. And actually when I did the Stuntman song with Elliot Bless, a friend of mine, this Rev thing, they have a clothing company, blah blah. He also makes music, so it was really cool to like do a song with him. But when I sent him the song and with my verse on it, I was like, you can let me know if this is too weird, you know, like that's how, because I was like, likes this more, like likes this as much as I do, but I was like, I love it. I actually sent Sadistic a couple, or I was just, he sent me some songs from like his, like just new stuff he's working on, and I did the same thing, and he really liked the one that I
Black
sent
Lotus.
him, like one of them. It wasn't one. Yeah, and he was like, he's like, do you mind if I like, you know, do something to this or whatever? It's like, hell yeah, man. And because it was the same type of thing. Like, me and Sadistic were on tour for a while, knew each other for a couple years. We would be in the van playing Street Fighter 4 and like any arcade we would playing whatever against each other, doing everything, and then all of a sudden again it comes to a point where it's like, oh
yeah,
let's do a song. You know, it's like why not? You know, type of thing. I also think too there's some people where, you know, maybe it's your styles don't mesh perfectly or something, and you don't have to force to just because you know the person, you know, like you can just be whatever. You can just have it happen when it happens, or it doesn't. It's fine. You know, Rob Sonic is one of my best friends, and like we actually have done some stuff, but like just like messing around and things. But you know, again, I mean, I wouldn't say on paper, I wouldn't say like, oh, this would be a perfect match, but we both like what each other do, and we're having fun. It's like, why not? You know?
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Some of the stuff you do, like, ever since you released that album, I have to go to gas stations nightly for my job, and every time I see those fucking bananas, it's the first thing I think of. I'm like, God damn it, fucking gas station bananas. And, they're fucking all dirty and dying and shit. And they're like, here, 2 for $1.
Think about it from his perspective. They're getting them out in Las Vegas, man. You know what they're being used for, dude. They're props. Those are prop bananas. Man.
Yeah, probably. We probably use them in this house at some point. So.
Oh man, your life. I can't even imagine what your life is like. It just from what I've seen in you going live, it's been much different than your life was in New York.
It's interesting. It makes me realize that it's not like when I went back to New York, I realized like when people were asking me about it, and I was just like, oh yeah, I guess that was crazy, but like it feels normal here because like I'm not even the wild one, like
just
I'm
chilling.
in the background of this stuff. And it's like this is just happening. I go downstairs, just grab something to eat, and I'm like, oh, okay, there's 4 naked girls with horse masks on or something. It's like, okay.
Please,
It's like, all right.
just call your
like,
next
hello?
album DVD.
What is that?
Double vaginal, double A.
Call it, and you can have a track on the album called DDP's Diamond Cutter. The DP Diamond Cutter.
Oh man.
DP time.
DVDA is a band that Matt Stone and Trey Parker made from the guys from South Park.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah.
So it was used in Orgasmo, right?
All of them. They have music. All of their music is used throughout the South Park. They've got a bunch of songs on Cannibal the Musical. They pretty much all their music.
That's DVDA. That's their band is Double Vaginal Double A.
That's awesome.
This is so stupid.
What would Brian Boitano do
I
if he was here today?
Yeah.
I have a song on. I think I'm gonna put out an EP. I don't know, sometime soon. Yeah, I definitely have an interesting song for it that I hope. I really just have to do the video for it to give it a full thing. So
it's gonna be shot at your house.
It's gonna take a while, but I don't know. But it might. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
You
for
seem
sure.
a lot happier out in Vegas.
It's different. Yeah, it's good energy out here. I will. It's good energy. There's not too much time to spend alone in my head, which is a good thing. Like it's weird. I'm like a introvert, extrovert, which I actually just found out is called like an ambivert or something.
I'll find that out when I go see my psychologist for the first time in a couple weeks.
It's something where. I obviously need my time when I need my time. But you know what? To be honest, too, is I actually talked to, if you guys know Henri Osborne, Gray Skull, that was like signed to Rhyme Sayers and stuff. We toured a couple times. But I was talking to him recently. Went to visit him in Austin. And I brought up to him how I was like, with the pandemic and with so much, there's like just a lot of like dark things going around with people I knew. I lost a really good friend of mine, young, super young, and like all these things that were just happening around the same time. I don't want to like add to that. At this time, it's like it doesn't feel right. I don't want to. I'm hoping that I don't make depressing songs. It's obviously not something I can control because fucking when dog shit came out, I didn't know. But it's definitely not something that I want to. I'm kind of in a place where like I want to like, in a corny way to put it, but like put smiles on people's faces and like look on the bright side of things and not be as much as, look, we're all gonna have our days and everything like that, but it's like it's difficult when you see the shit that's been going on. I don't know if I want to add to this. I kind of want to get people away from this and like get just kind of the way that I watch movies or play video games or something, to get out of reality and be in a different place, but a good place. Even when I'm watching people sever other people's heads, but that to me is
not
a good place,
not a horrible
like
thing.
That's my happy place.
You've used some interesting samples over your albums. Balance. I mean, you used Hellblade.
I
Great
love
game.
that
Doug, you
game.
would love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You should. But if you're gonna play it, you have to play it with headphones on.
And actually, you do, because like I thought that was a gimmick. But
So like in the
crazy.
game, she's basically going crazy, wouldn't you say? I mean, and so like in your right ear, you'll hear like the good side of her talking, in your left ear, you'll hear the bad shit happening, and it's just fucking intense, dude.
All right.
Great game. Senua Sacrifice, Hellblade Senua Sacrifice. Upgrade games, I think, probably more than either of us at this point.
I have my setup actually. That's another thing I'm like trying to get perfected before I really do it. I mean, I've been going live a couple times, whatever, just to stream. But I definitely want to.
Yeah, you've got
dive
Bald.
into that a little more.
What was the name?
Bald, bearded,
Yeah.
and broke. Which actually I should.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all bald here. I don't know why I'm.
Yeah, I don't like this. I'm still getting used to this.
Oh no!
So,
How
tell him the
long-
story, Doug.
Sorry,
So-
now we're
No,
talking
that's
about
fine.
a different
Tell him
tangent
the
now.
story.
I'm 41. I've had pretty good head of hair most of my life. Almost all my life, I'd say. I've had long hair. I've had short hair. I've been bald. I prefer having long hair. And I decided over the pandemic that I was going to grow my hair back out again to my shoulders. And I started doing it the way I did it, that I remember, like shaving the sides and consistently training your hair, pulling it back with hair bands and shit. And I look like a fucking idiot, man. And I finally got it to the point where I could pull it back in a ponytail to where it wasn't a complete embarrassment. It was starting to come in the way I wanted it. And we're podcasting last week with a friend of mine that I grew up with, who is a DJ, producer, comic book writer living in Japan. And as we're podcasting, my brother, the week prior to this, told me I was thinning on top of my hair, and I thought he was full of shit because I used to make fun of him because he's as bald as you guys. And we're podcasting, and I'm looking in the camera, and all of a sudden, I catch a glimpse of the thinning in the fairway that everyone keeps telling me about, to the point where I stop listening, and I start doing this on camera. And it fucked with my head so bad the first night, because I'm like, for 41 years, I had a great head of hair. Why now? And I couldn't process it. And the next morning, I woke up so depressed that I waited to go out running. Like, I didn't want to run. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to do it. And I just went to the bathroom and shaved it all off. And I said, fuck it. It is what it is, man. And I spent the next day or two just kind of mourning it and really panicking. And now I'm like, whatever. Who cares?
Like he took that shit hard, bro.
No.
He took that shit hard.
It came out of nowhere.
I hear you. I hear you. I mean, it wasn't out of nowhere for me. Like but it was at that. I mean, even as far back as I can remember, anyway. Like I was wearing hats all the time, so it's like I didn't really, I didn't care anyway. But I cared when I went into, let's say, go into a bar or something, and they're like, no hats, and I'd be like, oh fuck, so we have to go somewhere else. Like, no, we can't do that. Or like I'd be trying to fix it somewhere, and then if it was windy outside, I was like, oh, we can, this is gonna be bad. This is gonna be, because then it moves one way, and I'm like, oh geez. That was when I was like, what am I doing? I was like, I have to get rid of this, right? I have to just do it. And then I mean, I guess you eventually just have to be like, fuck, what can I do?
So I sent Doug 2 pictures earlier tonight to try to cheer him up. It was what I call my quarantine hair. I let my hair grow for like 2 months to see what would happen while I was furloughed. Dude, I have like the perfect old man fucking
Wilford Brimley. You've got the Wilford Brimley is what you've got.
Exactly. I've got the diabetes.
Yep.
It's so bad. And I'm like, there's no point in ever growing hair. So I shave it. I don't care. But
every time I think that, I'm like, oh, maybe I will give it like 4 days, and I'm like, this is disgusting. I was like, there's no way this can grow into anything right. I did my final run for one point, and I just had this like long, just stringy, and I was like, what am I doing, man? I was like, just get rid of this shit already. And now, I mean, if I grow it out, like on Impractical Jokers, how like Murr has like that. Yeah. He's got like a patch here. I got like the McDonald's.
I told I have like my hairline is legitimately like the Bat logo. it just kind of
Yeah.
does its own thing, and
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I'm good, man.
I was having dinner the next night with my friends, and they were like, "Oh my God, you don't have hair," and I was telling them the story, and my friend Kate was like, I said, "I can't believe I've been thinning out for so long," and she's like, "Yeah, you've been thinning out for a while." I'm like, "Why the fuck didn't anybody else tell me?" I'm like, "You let me look like an idiot with that bun, with that ponytail."
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's funny though because you know what's interesting too is like not knowing you, I wouldn't, and like that's when you also start realizing too. It's like it's other people's perspective because you could walk it anywhere. That would be the last thing that I would say. You know, I would not even notice any. You know, I wouldn't be like, oh shit, that he looks weird because he's bald. You know, like. But your friends would be like,
right.
Oh, this is crazy.
Like if I showed up tomorrow and I all of a sudden had a tattoo on my entire skull.
Like Bam Bam Bigelow? The Flames?
Yeah. No, dude, I'm not doing that. Yeah,
I was close.
I
was very close to doing it, actually.
That would have been awesome.
Very close. We drew it up and everything. Like, I want to eventually, but I also don't... I think I don't want to look like a psycho 24/7. Like, I think there's, like, part of me, like, I don't know. And then also, I don't mind. Like, I used to hate it. When I first did it, I hated it. You know, I was always trying. I was just like, because it looked weird. But now I'm so used to it that I'm like, when I got a nice little shiny bald head, I was like, yeah, why not? I like it. And there was a point where I was just like, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to tattoo my
But the
head
problem
right
is,
away,
if you still got hair growing in, your hair is going to be growing in through that tattoo. You know, I mean, I had that like, I'm really hairy on everywhere except for my head, apparently. So like when I got
it's
so weird.
Like when I got my when I got my shoulders tattooed, they shaved my shoulders, so that gives you an idea of how hairy I am. And I had fucking ingrown hairs in my tattoos because it was trying to grow through with the healing process. That does not go well at all, dude. I looked into you know that laser hair removal shit. I looked into that. They won't do your skull. They'll do any part of your body but your skull. Which makes me wonder how fucking safe is it really if they're not going to do your skull.
That's so weird.
Yeah, I looked into it because I was like, man, it only takes me 30 seconds to shave, but I'm like, if I could just get it done forever.
Why don't you just shampoo with Nair?
Motherfucker, are you insane? Have you ever had a chemical burn?
You don't know how this feels.
It's only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything.
What the fuck is it called? There's this it's marketed towards African American people. It's a paste that people use to shave. It's supposed to like get rid of like bumps. Magic Shave.
Okay.
It's like a talcum powder that comes in a tin can. I used to live in the hood, and
dude. I thought they called it activator too, don't they?
No, activator is something completely different.
Oh, okay.
Activator is to make your Jerry curl glow.
Like Soul Glow?
Yeah, pretty much. That's what activator is.
1, 2, 3. Just let your soul glow. Just let it shine through. Oh, so silky smooth. Just let it shine through. Just let your soul glow.
But so my neighbor DJ, I was shaving my head with a razor. He's like, "Oh, we got to get a better shine than that." And I was like, How the fuck do I get closer than a razor, motherfucker? Like, what are you talking about? So he goes to his house, and he gets this can of weird shit that looks like baking soda, dumps it in a bowl, mixes it with water, and it's a paste, and he rubs this paste all over my skull. And I was like, now what? He's like, it'll start burning. And I'm like, what? He's like, once it starts burning, let me know. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, all right, dude, it's starting to burn. He's like, all right. So he grabs a washcloth, just a dry washcloth, and starts buffing my head, and all the hair is just coming off. And I was like, what the fuck is this shit? And
what?
I swear to God, so you just buff it off, and that's it. It wipes all the hair out. It just disintegrates all your hair. Then he goes back to his house. He's like, I got to get some grease. I'm like, what? He comes back over with this jar of, like, green jelly-looking KY shit.
Aloe vera, probably.
And he just slathered his shit on my head and then buffed my head out with a towel. My head shined for weeks. Not a single fucking hair grew back for weeks. But if you leave that you leave that shit on too long, you'll get fucking scars, dude. It will eat you alive. Like, that shit is scary.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can smell the chemical reaction happening on your scalp, and you're like, "Ugh." In fact,
That sounds
that
amazing.
girl who used to live with us, Doug, she who shall be nameless for a lot of reasons.
Voldemort.
Yeah. So she
Voldemort.
used something. She
Vol-
used
Vol-
something.
Just let me get my joke out. Voldemort. Okay, there. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Voldemort. Got it. So she did something similar. There's like a thing called Veet for women's legs, and you're supposed to use it once every so many times, and it says do not use within like a 48-hour period. Well, she did it, wiped it all off. It didn't get everything, so she tried it again immediately, and she had road rash where it looked like she had been drugged down a street on her legs because it chemical burned the shit out of her. And I'm like, yeah, nope, that's not healthy.
Yeah, that's scary.
It was legit like the scene in Chasing Amy where the car's rolling away with the girl's legs hanging out.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part.
Yeah, it was just. I mean, her legs were just ate up, and I'm like, ooh.
Did I ever tell you the story about the time I thought I had gonorrhea, but it turned out that the girl just gave me her yeast infection? It's possible guys can get yeast infections.
I got a UTI within 3 weeks of being out here.
If that's all you've gotten so far, I mean,
but all right.
To be fair,
but it scared me.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I know what you mean. It's a scary feeling too.
dude.
Especially when you don't have money and you got to go to convenient care, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing to begin with, and they look at your dick and they're like, "Oh, dude, just put some baking soda on it. You'll be fine," and that just intensifies it. It took weeks.
What?
Oh, dude.
What?
The convenient care didn't recognize or didn't understand that guys could get yeast infections, and they told me it was just a heat rash to put. No, it was cornstarch. They said put cornstarch on it; it'll be fine, and it made it. How do I say this without being vulgar? It made it like
a
muffins,
cake pop?
like uncooked muffins rising out of a cake pan. It looked like a mushroom was growing fungus around its cap. Oh my god! I just remembered. I've got like an eighth of mushroom somebody gave me like a month ago. Anyway.
You should take them for a podcast.
He totally will. He totally will.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! I spit water everywhere.
Definitely do that.
Oh man, I can't believe where you live they didn't know you could get a yeast infection as a male.
Crazy.
It took 2 weeks before my
That's
doctor
wild.
came back from vacation, and I'm like, "Look, this is what's been going on. This is what happened." And he's like, "All right, man." I had a great doctor from the time I was 16 till when I left Florida at 37. I had the same doctor, this old chubby Jewish guy, and he was so awesome. And he looked, "All right, Doug, come on in, drop your trowels." And he sits in his chair. He looks at it. Yeah, you've got a yeast infection. I'm like, guys can't get yeast infections. He's like, based on the story you told about the girl you were with, you got her yeast infection, buddy. Here's some topical cream. It'll be gone in a couple days.
That is awesome.
I don't know how that's going to fit into the podcast, but thanks.
I only have one friend that personally admitted that he got the clap. It's a quick story, but I was on a whole lot of LSD one night, and this girl was at my house, and she worked with the woman who is now my wife. They weren't really friends or anything. She just happened to show up, and my friend Jimmy says to me, "Hey man, what about that girl over there?" And keep in mind, when I look at her, all I'm seeing is the fucking grid from Tron over everything I look at. Like, legit, that's everything I see. There's that grid in front of it. And he's like, "Who is she?" I'm like, And, they're passing around this giant fucking blunt, and I'm losing my mind because I'm about to go on the world's worst trip. And I'm like, I don't know, talk to her. I don't know who she is. 2 days later, Jimmy calls me. He's like, "Hey, Bob." "Yeah, man. It feels like razor blades when I pee." And I'm like, "Why are you telling me?" And he's like, "That girl you introduced me to." I'm like, "What girl? What are you talking about?" And then he jogged my memory. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't know who that girl was. She works at this place.
She was from Tron.
You might want to go to the doctor. I don't have no idea who that chick is, dude. He got the clap, so I'm like, good for you, man. You know, at least you got it out of the way. You get a shot in the ass.
At least that's all.
Right?
You know, that's the.
Yeah, that's all it was. You know, it could have been a lot worse. Yeah, whenever you drop your next project, whenever, man, we'd love to have you back on. This has been a blast.
Yeah,
I don't know what we actually talked about, but
A bunch of stuff, man.
Me either. That's the best part about them.
I don't like to go into shit planned. It feels, I don't know, weird to have like a weird set of questions planned out.
Somebody asked me. There was one podcast I did, and somebody asked me like right before it. They're like, "Is there anything you want to talk about, or something that I shouldn't talk?" And I'm like, "I'd much rather have
Just
it
go.
just whatever you want to talk about." Like,
So
way more
should we
fun.
end on that, or should we have him show? Do you want to show Doug your fairuza?
What we can do
I mean,
is we can still end it there, and the magic of editing, I can cut it and make it seamless.
Well, I'm sorry, you two editors. I don't fucking edit. All right.
Well, here,
Oh my god, that is terrifying, dude. That's like that book, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. That's like a drawing out of that book, man.
Actually, I don't know if do you guys know Itchy the Killer
Yeah.
movie? Yeah. I have. I just got this actually.
Holy
This is
shit.
Oh,
pretty
nice.
That is dope, man.
dope. Yeah.
That looks really good.
I actually got the MF Doom.
Fucking, that
Mask
is fucking
recently.
awesome.
Nice.
And just a quick, while we're at it, I got a little Larry David back here.
I got random shit. I mean, Doug's got the Blues Brothers on his arm. I've got
the Max Papa. I got a bunch of shit. Frankenstein.
I've got the Google the sketch of Ramona Flowers on my leg from Scott Pilgrim. So
That's
just
all.
a sketch, nothing else. So
They're fun, man. Once you start like just having fun with them, that I'm so glad that like I got over the thing of like,
yeah,
oh, I
they
want
don't
them
need
all
to mean
do
shit.
something, blah, blah.
My anxiety's come back really bad, so I'm actually going to see a psychologist for the first time in 20 years. Because every time I start to see somebody, I'll get into a good vibe with them, and they'll get ready to diagnose me, then they'll quit or transfer somewhere else. So I've never gotten like an actual diagnosis. Like you're probably manic depressive, or we think you're bipolar, but I've never gotten an actual thing. So I'm curious to hear like, hey man, you're just fucking crazy. You know what I mean?
What if? And I mean, what if? Okay. Secretly.
It's just been chlamydia.
Oh.
You've had
That's better than where I was
44
going.
years.
What if, as much as you've been fighting against it, you're secretly a juggalo, like I've been saying all along?
Fuck you,
You're
dude.
It's seriously, you could be, man. You don't know who you really are inside.
You'll never hear me say that stupid two
Woop,
phrase
woop!
word. No, I
Whoop.
fucking hate it, dude.
Whoa, whoa.
When I photographed them, that was one of the weirdest nights of my life.
I fucking love ICP culture so much.
I want to go to I love it.
Me
man.
too.
It was-
Gathering of the
it was-
I wanna go to the
Juggalos.
gathering.
Smoking on a fat one, we come to have fun on Juggalo Island. We can be on Juggalo Island. We can have fun.
You on
I
stage.
want to go to the
again.
gathering so
You two
bad.
motherfuckers would be the two boringest people at the gathering of the Juggalos.
Do you know how much I hate
Oh,
being,
yeah.
You know how much I hate being around people? I would go if he was playing or going, just going, fuck play. If he was just going, I would absolutely spend my time with him the entire time. But that
Where
would
is
be
that-
that would be the catalyst for me to go. I want to go to so bad. I want to go to a gathering.
Where is it
I would
held at?
fucking-
I
think
it's different every year.
Maybe
No,
not.
I thought it was all like a Michigan thing. I wasn't sure.
It's different every year.
You might be right. I don't know. I don't remember. But if I'm close to it, damn well believe that. Hey, you know what's actually kind of funny though too is their lineups like the past 2 years are actually kind
Really?
of amazing. Yeah. Tech Nine will be there. Danny Brown was on one.
yeah,
Ice T was like.
When
on
I
one
saw
before-
them,
yeah,
it
like,
was them.
They got some.
I think Freddie Gibbs did one.
It was them, 3-6 Mafia,
I didn't.
Mad Child, a couple other people that I just don't know who the fuck I was seeing. But Mad Child was very interesting. Like, he was very angry, like, the whole fucking set, dude. Like, that guy is just angry as fuck.
He's an interesting
Yeah, like,
character.
and, like, half the pictures I took of him, he's making, like, a throat-slashing motion. Like, he is just very angry. And
Yeah.
I'm taking all the pictures, I'm like, man, these all look the same, because this dude's just pissed the fuck off, like, the whole night. But, and he wore like a little Kanye West backpack the whole night, too. So, like, he's super gangster looking, and he's got this cute little backpack on. It was very odd. You guys might agree on Kanye. I've never personally got into Kanye. I just never did.
I love Kanye
But-
up and
I think he's a genius. Yeah.
Absolutely agree with you. Think he's a genius. He is maybe one of my absolute favorite producers. The man's mind works brilliantly. But for me personally, like I've listened to everything and I found something to love on everything. But after Yeezus, I think it like that Yeezus was the last album for me personally where every track was just completely enjoyable. With Life of Pablo, I found a few songs I liked, but then I found a bunch that were like, That gospel album he put out, Jesus King. I even found a song, that fucking Kenny G song was amazing.
Yeah, it was the same thing, you know, like I knew once, like, I knew if he was putting out like a full gospel album, I knew it wasn't going to be something I was going to be into, but I did find like one or two songs on there which I was like, you know what, this isn't too bad, but I mean, most of the stuff, it just didn't appeal to me, you know, as crazy and stuff that he gets, I still can't take away from fucking the amazing stuff that he has done.
As a driver,
I 100% agree.
I ask people nightly, I'm like, hey, what do you guys want to hear? Which apparently is a rare thing to do in a lift. I don't know. The amount of people that ask me for DaBaby and Drake and fucking Cardi B. Oh my God. If I never hear WAP again in my life, I could not be happier.
Yeah, you fucking with some whack ass penis. You can suck it if you want, still get whack ass penis.
I've had girls request it on repeat for up to an hour. Do you know what that's like? To hear WAP for an hour straight? It's not good. It's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. Yeah. I felt dirty. I felt like I needed a fucking shower. It was kind of like the Crying Game. You know, it was like that. Or the scene in Trainspotting where he's reaching in the toilet. That's what it felt like to me. After an hour of Cardi B, you could do any one thing. Like, if you got 3 wishes, if you gave me one wish,
edit porn.
It would just be for my brain to be normal. If that makes any sense. Like, as someone who's fought with mental illness from the time I was a child and I was a cutter and all that shit, you know what I mean? Clearly I've got problems, but now when I have these panic attacks when I'm driving, it only happens on the interstate, which makes no sense to me because that used to be my favorite place to drive, and now I'm like I start feeling hot and like my shoulders get tense, and I'm like, and I reach down and I take one of my meds, it's gone in a couple seconds, and I'm like, they gotta up my dose. Me and the doctor are arguing about that. He's like, oh, but this one's supposed to prevent that from happening, so you need to take the prevention earlier. I'm like, well, clearly the preventative one is not working, so do we up the other one? What do you want to do, man? Because I can't fucking deal with this on a night-to-night basis. Yeah. And now I wonder, now that shows happen again, how am I going to be going back to shows with, 20, 30, 40,000 people?
I think, I'm not an expert, but based on you and based on the people you're friends with, I think if you surround yourself by good people, I think you'll be okay as long as you have anchor points. And I think if you have like Nick with you, I think you'll be good.
Yeah, Nick will be there for one, but the first one I think I'll be fine. I mean, upgrade a laugh, but the first show I'm going to post COVID is Garbage and Alanis Morissette. Like, I'm all over that shit, dude. I'm all over that shit, man. I was like, how much are tickets? Like, I had to buy tickets on the lawn so I could afford to go, but because tickets up front, I was like, oh, that's triple digits. And it was not low triple digits either. So I was like, no, I'm good. I'll spend $50 and sit back there. I can still hear fine. I'm looking forward to that one. And then I got the Coheed and the Used show, which I've got to drive 5.5 hours for. I'm like, yeah, I'm taking a hotel on this one. It's too tired to drive home.
Just take it for whatever you're comfortable with. Like, if that means, having to sit back farther than usual than you want to, or whatever it is, leaving for the end. At least going is like a huge thing. You know, that's like the thing. So, and you'll figure it out from there. You just feel it out. And for me, what always helped is, you know, if I drove myself or whatever it was, that I just knew
You can leave.
I don't know. I always needed.
And that,
like that. I knew I can go and like if somebody else, like I'm not waiting. Oh,
right.
You know, wait, no, the song's not over. It's like, no, but come on, we have
Right.
to go. Like I wouldn't want to be in that situation. Bring it even
No, and I
first.
get it, and I think
So,
that's
yeah.
part of my thing. That's why I don't like flying. I can't just get up and leave. Same thing with a boat, and that's my whole thing. I think with the interstate is I can't just pull over and get out of the car if I need to. You know, so I something about my brain is constantly just trying to escape and just like, hey, we need to go over there real quick. And it's interesting, and when you explain it to people who've never had anxiety issues, they don't really get it. But it's I've been on 3 milligrams of Xanax, so 1 milligram 3 times a day for the past 24 years. So my dose has not changed in 24 years. So I have to assume at this point they'll never take me off of it because, you know, you're not supposed to be on that shit that long in the first place. I have a feeling when I see my psychologist, they're going to be like, so we need to crank that up a little bit there, buddy.
You were on that when we were living together and I was using?
Oh, yeah.
Glad I didn't know that then.
Me too, because I would have had to beat your ass. Because if I don't take it, man, it's a completely different me. It's amazing to me that people that take it who use it to get high, because it's never had that effect on me. It's just it keeps me normal. It keeps me from wanting to kill people. That's the only way I can think to describe it. Is it keeps me balanced. I've never gotten high. I've never gotten anything remotely like that off of it. I had a ear, nose, and throat guy working on my ear one time, and it sent me into a huge vertigo spell, which sent me, of course, into a panic attack. And I'm trying to fight this dude, and he ended up breaking smelling salts and just shoving it under my nose. And it brought me out of it immediately. And he's like, you have the worst panic attacks of anybody I've ever seen. I'm like, thanks. I don't know how the fuck do I take that?
Then I'm looking down at at OBS and I'm like, oh man, we're getting ready to record Godfather 3 Coda. This is awesome, man. We're gonna have to put out a series of podcasts.
We'll do part 2, part 3, whatever it is.
Thanks for coming on, sir.
I'm absolutely not complaining. I don't want anybody to think that. I'm not complaining. I've enjoyed all the time.
No.
Yeah, I gotta go to work, so.
Do you? Oh, that's right, you do. Fuck, I forgot you're on a work night.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
This is fucking awesome. I mean, seriously, it's finally good to meet you. Finally, nice to talk to you, and I really do want to have you on again. There's a lot of stuff I want to say, but my piss hurts so bad. But I really appreciate. Not just I know you're known for more than other stuff, but I do appreciate Chemical Imbalance, and I really do appreciate Gas Station Bananas and EP2 and the use of the song. But like, thank you sincerely. Like, one of the things I want to do that I've realized that I've told him that since the retweet with Andrew WK, like, and since I've been getting healthier, my mindset's been more about, like, I just want to put positivity out. I've been doing a lot of, like, DDP yoga and shit along with my runs. And I told him, I'm like, fuck it. Like, if we're getting Tom on and we had Andrew retweet us, I'm like, I'm just going to start dreaming out loud on Twitter and posting, like, you know, this is who I wouldn't mind interviewing. I want to interview people that inspire me in hopes that it'll inspire somebody else, just like a conversation, you know. And while we were talking tonight, Scott Kloffenstein liked that tweet, so we might actually get Scott on too. But I appreciate everything you've done, man. You've been instrumental, and I'm glad that we've had you on, and I'm looking forward to talking to you again and getting to know you better, man. And I can't say
hell yeah, man.
And
thank you guys.
Look forward for his next EP, DVDA, coming soon. And
I think you should call the next EP.
I'll send you guys.
I think you should do the Dog Shit 3 EP and have Bob's face as the cover. That's a freebie.
That's fine. Just
if you want to have 3 bags on
I will
your
totally
face,
let you do that.
use that as the cover.
I will totally let you do that.
Wear the shirt. Wear the T-shirt while you're doing the photo.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll wear the
Yeah.
t-shirt and I'll have my wife take a photo and you can put dog shit all over me.
Oh my God, this is the greatest day of my life. Christmas came early.
Speaking of, I am gonna urinate. Oh yeah, be right back.
Make 'em clap to this. Paint your fingernails black to this. I said, make 'em clap to this. Paint your fingernails black. Yeah. On the first tour, didn't get a dime, knew I'm worth more. Telling me I'm crazy as a nurse ward. I exert force only to the people I do dirt for. Blood, sweat, and tears on my shirt for 'em. Deserving to be cherished like a